Hi, I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. Such a pleasure to be able to speak to you today. For people who don't know anything about Scrapper, what can they expect when they watch it?
Theo, my producer, usually does like the epic two-liner sales pitches. I'm shocking at them. Hopefully, like Scrapper makes people laugh and makes people smile. Hopefully, it kind of changes people's perspective on like working class cinema and what that means for like British films that are about the working class world. But yeah, hopefully they just don't hate it. That's the big dream and that. Yeah,
They
yeah. Aim
definitely
aim
won't.
low. Yeah, yeah.
And I know you kind of cut your teeth making all these amazing music videos, and you also did a whole bunch of shorts. So maybe you can just say a bit about your journey to making this film and what you kind of learned about filmmaking that you could then bring to your first feature.
Yeah, yeah. I think I was saying to my friend earlier, like once, I don't know, like people often have asked all day today, like what was it like directing Harris and things like that. And like in comparison, music videos, you like stand on like a rooftop directing like 50 lads that like don't want to act, and you're trying to tell them like, please just smile lads, please, because it's a nice song, you got to smile, you know. So once you've done that as like a 15-year-old kid that has to scream at all these like boys on a rooftop, directing Harris Dickinson is like very easy and joyful in comparison, you know. So I guess that kind of chaotic environment, music videos, like you can have a plan, but no way are you going to be able to stick to it because people just do what they want to do. So I think it helps with maybe adapting to like, I always, sounds really evil, but when things would go terribly wrong on set, I'd be like, cool, this is a great time. How can we solve this, you know? So maybe music videos have done that a little bit, yeah.
And in terms of kind of the story itself, you know, the kind of inspiration behind it, I know, so, you know, maybe you've had some of your own personal experiences of grief, but also kind of seeing it from this child's perspective, and maybe kids kind of connect to these things in ways that are quite unexpected and something that adults can actually learn from, and that kind of puts us in, you know, looking at things from Georgie's perspective, perhaps.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like, I think it's like the only thing I found that could help me when I was grieving was like reading books about like how younger people cope with it and their kind of outlook, and how they're just like willing to just like ride the emotions instead of trying to like give it like a logical explanation or like a step-by-step process or something like that. And like with everything, I feel like we can all take something that we have from childhood, and we should try and remember it a little bit more. Like your perspective is so different, you don't know you have less than someone else, or like the world you're in is just the best world possible. Yeah, so it's something I wish I could do more of. Yeah, yeah.
And it's such a genius pairing putting together Harris with Lola. If you could tell us a bit about, you know, discovering Lola, I think she had like an amazing self-tape, which I think caught your attention. But of course, being her first time on a set, it was perhaps when you brought them together that chemistry really came alive.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of imitated the script really, because we tried to shoot semi-chronologically so that the kids wouldn't get confused with like emotional jumps constantly, or jumping from the end of your relationship to the beginning and stuff. So for the beginning of the film, Lola was actually super suspicious of Harris, which really worked because Georgie was suspicious of Jason, you know, because with Lola you have to like very much earn her friendship by being consistent, and which Harris was, and he was trying so hard, but she would like give him so little. As where Alan was instantly, Harris is my favorite person in the world, and he's my idol, you know. So it kind of imitated the film in that way. But Harris is like so incredibly selfless and was so willing to kind of help the kids, and he would stand around when he didn't have scenes just to support them in scenes. Like he would make us all bad coffee. He wasn't making the kids coffee, obviously, that would be bad. But yeah, he was just like, so I don't think you would have got that from any other actor. And now obviously they're all best mates, but I never have like a cute magical story about them being best friends instantly, because Lola was like, why should I trust him? Yeah, yeah.
And what is it about Harris Dickinson? I know you've worked with him before, but I mean, seeing like how fast his star has risen from, I love Beach Rats so much, and you know, like Triangle of Sadness last year, and all that's gone in between. But here, he just seems so committed to this role as well. And that, you know, there's this laddish exterior, but there's so much else going on. There's such an emotional undertone, which you then see spill over it, like when he opens the locked bedroom adore. So, you know, what do you think is so great about him, and what did you think of his performance?
Oh yeah, no, Harris is just like an incredible human being, and I was always obsessed with Beach Rats as well. He's just, yeah, can offer such like complex, flawed characters, you know, which is what we both always spoke about with Jason, is that he starts the film as quite a bad dad and he ends it as a bad dad, you know. We didn't want to do that movie magic thing of by the end he's totally changed his personality. We were both very accepting that he was allowed to be flawed and he was allowed to be imperfect and selfish, because that is reality, you know. And yeah, his performance, yeah, is incredible. You know, to be able to give that performance and to offer so much of himself to support, like Alan and Lola, and yeah, do it for a low-budget film that, you know, had a lot going on and was quite chaotic. Is I don't think any other actor would have offered us what he did. Yeah.
And in terms of the look and feel of the film, I think, you know, as we said, trying to capture the magic of seeing things from a kid's perspective. So you're kind of putting side by side, you know, we are rooted in reality, but then, you know, the way that you've used colour and, you know, having the different people speaking to the camera, you know, where he's like going from a vampire to a gangster, you know, sat in that cafe. So those flourishes, I think, help ground us in that child's perspective. So how did you achieve that?
Yeah, I mean, it comes from everyone who's involved. You know, Molly, my DP, worked in music videos. Eleanor, my production designer, has come up through short form. So everyone was very on board with like, how can we like take risks with this film? I think that was always what we said, is that we'd rather make a film that took risks and was flawed rather than like it kept it safe and was just decent or whatever. And we approached that with every scene. You know, me and Molly would be like, how can we tell this in a weird way or in one shot or with this weird technique? Because it was meant to be made by the kids in a way, so that kind of helped break style conventions, I guess. It gave us an excuse. Yeah.
And what do you hope people will take away? I mean, as we said, perhaps learning from, you know, how kids can look at grief, but also, yeah, flipping the perspective on working class lives and not saying that everything is all sort of grim and bleak. You know, I think someone put like Ken Loach meets Wes Anderson. You're kind of creating a new space there where you can have that wit and that joy despite the kind of heavy subject matter.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, I think like it's been such a sick year, and the previous year for British films in particular, kind of breaking those conventions with like Rye Lane is incredible and so stylized, and like Polite Society is amazing, like Blue Jean. So I don't know. I think it's a lot, you know, those guys that have paved the way for our film to be accepted in the way that it hopefully has been. And I don't know what I want people to take. Hopefully they don't hate it, and hopefully it makes them a bit happier than when they came into the cinema. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Can't wait for everyone to see Scrapper in cinemas. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.